If you're new to track driving, especially this is your first year of driving on a road course, you really want to limit the modifications to make to your car that first season. In this video, I'll describe the skills we're working on that first season, and also describe some acceptable mods we can make to the car when you're a newer driver. This first season on track, we are working on developing our senses and then interpreting this information to help us learn what the chassis is telling us. The senses we are developing is our butt to help us determine yaw and slip, using our hands through the steering wheel to help us detect understeer and oversteer, and awareness of our feet, what our feet are doing on the brake and throttle inputs throughout the corner sequence, using our eyes, which is our primary visual, which we use for our primary visual references. Then we use our ears, listening to the tires, which help us tie all this together. Most driving instructors and coaches will agree, for newer drivers, you want to limit your mods to brake fluid, brake pads, and tires. During track use, your brake rotors can reach near 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and your OEM equipment is just not designed for that environment. There are two types of brake fade, pad fade and fluid fade. Pad fade occurs when the brake pad material itself heats to such a point that it begins to melt, putting a layer of liquid between the rotor and the pad surface, really similar to when driving on a wet highway and you begin to hydroplane. Fluid fade occurs when the brake fluid begins to boil. OEM DOT2 and DOT3 brake fluid are glycol-based and do contain some water. And under extreme conditions, such as on a track when the fluid begins to boil, this water puts steam in the brake lines, limiting their operation and making them feel spongy. A DOT5 brake fluid is silicone-based and is a higher boiling point and is recommended for track use. Before the start of the season, we recommend flushing your brake system of the OEM DOT2 and DOT3 brake fluid and replacing that with a DOT5 brake fluid. There's plenty of tutorials online on how to do it, and you can do it yourself with the right set of tools. For tires, we recommend running a tire with no less than a Treadwear of 200. It's 2022, and examples would be the BF Goodrich Rival S1.5, the Hankook Ventus RS4, and the Dunlop Direzza Z3. The reason for this is a tire with the Treadwear of 200 and higher meaning less grip, provides the newer driver audio feedback through the ears as you approach the traction limit of the tire. These tires also help us to correlate what we hear through our ears with what we sense in our butt and our hands as we approach the traction limit. This helps us develop our senses, we'll begin to develop speed, and we become a safer driver as we can anticipate when we're approaching the traction limit. These tires are also more forgiving as you approach the traction limit of the tire. You have grip, you get some slip, it talks to you, get some slip, it talks to you, get some slip, it talks to you, and then you break loose. An RCOM tire, a tire typically with a Treadwear 100 or less, is not recommended for newer drivers. Examples would be the Toyo R888 and the Hoosier R7. The reason for this is these tires are very unforgiving at the traction limit, and they make very little to no noise when they do. You got traction, traction, it chirps, and you're gone. For brake pads, you want to find a good pad compound to mate to a 200 Treadwear tire. A good example would be the HT10s and Blues from Hawk Racing Pads. Carbotech also makes a good set of racing pads. If your goal is to become a good driver, after you've found a good tire pad combination, don't make any more changes to your car other than tire pressures. When you're a newer driver, working on the skills to become a good driver, you don't want to be making changes to your car such as changing coilovers and shocks, changing spring rates, changing camber and tow, upgrading engine horsepower. You don't yet have the skills to know if it's either you behind the wheel or the car that made things either better or worse on track.